Alright guys, we have a 2006 Toyota Camry. This car is leaking oil from right here. This is a bad valve cover gasket. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace that valve cover gasket. So what we're going to do is first we're going to remove the number 10s on top of this cover. This one over there. This one here. And the cover should pop up with the 2-liter clips on it. We're going to be removing a lot of bolts, alright? So make sure you keep all the bolts in order. First, we're going to remove the 4 bolts on the ignition coils. And once we have the bolts removed, what we're going to do is we're going to take out the coils. We're going to put them to the side. And we're going to remove the number 10 right there. That's going to release the harness. And then after that, what we'll do is we'll take off these whole bunch of other bolts. Alright, so first we're going to remove this pipe here. This is the pipe for the intake to suck in some of the fumes inside the engine. Alright, so all you do is remove that clamp and push that pipe off, and then we have one more over here. This is on the PCV valve. Over time these pipes get hard, so they're hard to take off. So you can manage something. Make sure if you have dirt like this, you do not drop it inside, alright? So we're gonna be careful. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to remove this. And then we're going to remove the one down here. Alright, so we're going to take this harness now. Just put it to the side a little bit. These cables are a little, not the cable, this harness cover is a little old. So it's hard plastic, it's cracking up. Don't worry about that. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to remove all the bolts, alright? Just make sure you keep the bolts in order. I know this is going to be the 2 long ones and everything else might be same. Just pay attention to it, alright? So we're going to start off by removing this one in the corner. And we'll just take them all out. Keeping it. Alright, so there's bolts all around this. There's one over there in the back. Just gotta move that harness away a little bit. And you just push it and you should be able to get to that bolt. Alright. Just a few more. There's one here. There's one here. And there's one more down here. And then you got 2 in the center. All right, and then we got one right here looking at us. Right, and then we got 2 in the center, right? This is gonna be the longer bolts, 1 and 2. Alright, there you go. We have all the bolts removed. What we're gonna do next is we're gonna grab a flathead screwdriver and we're gonna pry it right here with the flathead screwdriver a little bit. Just find a good spot. Alright, make sure there's no other bolt or holding it if you don't see anything. And that's it. This cover is loose and we're gonna lift out this cover. You might gonna need help from another person. You have to lift up this valve cover straight up, alright? Because these little bolts, they're like stud type of bolts. You will not release it, alright? So there you go. All you do is you lift it up and that side the harness is gonna hold you a little bit, so all you do is yank it out this way and out. All right, and here's the gasket which stayed behind, and you can see these little pieces right here, the grommets for the spark plug bores, they broke and they're left behind. So this is an old gasket. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove this gasket and we're gonna remove all that. So just grab it and pull it off. Make sure you don't drop nothing inside, because this is hard plastic, it might break into pieces. You're probably gonna need a flathead screwdriver. Alright, there's the gasket. Alright, and we got one little piece left there. You're probably gonna need a screwdriver for that. And what we're gonna do next is he's gonna remove that, and make sure you remove the little silicones, like here, down here, and there's probably a few on the other side. Make sure you clean all this up nice and clean, and we're gonna also clean this up all around here, and we're gonna come right back. All right, and then we'll install the new gasket. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna clean this. All right, so you could use a blade. Make sure all that dirt and debris comes out. Don't drop it inside. And it's gonna do this all around. All right, and we'll put a little touch of a silicone, just like this one had it. That is just helps you put the sealing in place. So we're gonna clean this. You can use a blade and a rag. All right. All right, guys. So you got the surface cleaned on this, the head of this engine, all around. All right, we took out the silicone, the little spots of the silicones that was here. Also, we cleaned this valve cover all around. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a new gasket and we're gonna put the gasket in place. All right, this is the part number on this, 0361639 McCarley. That's the brand. So what we're gonna do is first we're gonna take some silicone. We're gonna put it on one spot here, one spot here. We're gonna catch these points here, here, and then we'll put one here, there, and one here. What that silicone is gonna do is it's gonna hold the gasket for you, because once you flip it, it can fall out. Even though this it has a groove, it's gonna grab it, but it might not grab it. Where? Put one here. All right, so we got a few spots, like one here, one there, and we're gonna put one right there. And we'll put one here. You don't have to put a lot, just a little bit. Put one here. And one on across. And then we'll put one in the center here. Alright, so what this is going to do is it's going to grab the seal for you. Alright. And what we'll do next is we'll bring the gasket over. We'll lay the gasket inside here. And what we're going to do, I forgot one thing. Put a little bit of here. Small taps. One here, one there. One here, one there. Little taps, because you know that's gonna hold it for you in the spot. When you put on this gasket, just be careful you get it flush everywhere. Sometimes you put it on, but the gasket is out, and then all the oil is gonna come out. Now we're gonna bring the gasket over. And we're gonna lay the gasket on top of this. Then we're gonna push the gasket down so it can go inside those grooves. One side you can see it's a little oval. So we're gonna lay this gasket down all around this valve cover, and we're gonna come right back. Just do the same like he's doing. Make sure you get a flush everywhere. And it's nice and even in all the angles, all the sides. Alright guys, we got the valve cover gasket ready. And as you can see, we got this gasket in the valve cover. And we're gonna put this back onto the engine. Alright guys, so you're gonna need two people for this. What you're gonna do is you're gonna hold this harness here to the side. And he's gonna manage to get this gasket in there. And that end, you see the harness here? This might bother you a little bit, but you gotta manage to get it in there. And these little dobies here, these bolts here, you gotta get this gasket in there flush, all right? All right, this side, the harness is a little bit blocking it. What we're gonna do is we're gonna push the harness out of the way. And there you go, the gasket, the valve cover just sat down, and you can feel it and you can hear it. Just look around, look in the bottom back here if you can see. Just make sure the gasket has not come out. All right, after that we'll let the car run for a little bit and we'll see if there's any leaks. And then I'll explain you a little bit more things after this. So what we're gonna do at this point is we're gonna put all the bolts in. And now we're gonna hand tighten them, all right? So you cannot tighten it with any type of power tool. You can, but make sure you have a good lot of experience and make sure you torque these. So the two long bolts go in the middle. You got the nut that goes here, the nut that goes there, and the rest of them are all same. Alright, to tighten these, make sure you tighten from in out. So what you can do is either tighten these two first or tighten it crisscross and then go in angle, but make sure you tighten it cross coming this way or going that way. That way the gasket just comes out and evens out all over, right? And one more thing I want to say is, if you're doing this in the winter, even summer, you know, the gasket is nice and hard because of the weather, and you tighten all the bolts. After that you start the engine up, the gaskets, they're smoothing up a little bit. It's a good idea to always check them again, tighten them again. What you can do is let the engine run for a little bit. Once it's nice and hot, just give them another small touch and that should snug it in. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna start here. We're gonna start from this bolt here. We're gonna get that nice and tight, not too tight, and we're gonna come over here. We're gonna do the next. This is gonna center out the valve cover right in the center. I'm sure there's a different sequence. You probably look online or look in the manual. And what we'll do is we'll do this one and this one next. And then you can do the last one, and then this one. Doesn't matter which one side you do first because it's already gasket has been pushed this way. But after these we're gonna do this one and this one. Alright, so nice and tight. After that we'll torque it and we'll come right back, and we got two more left. He's gonna tighten those. After that we'll torque it and we'll put the rest of the stuff together in a little bit. Alright guys, we got this nice and tight and torqued. What we're gonna do next is we're gonna pull a couple of the bolts that are missing, like from on this harness here, and then we have one over there, and then we got the vacuum pipes, one on the PCB valve here, one on the other side of the cover of this valve cover. It's right here. Alright, first what we'll do is we'll put the bolt here. The reason why we removed this was so the harness can move a little bit. And then we got one up here. We'll tighten that. And then we'll put this one in. That's it. Alright. What we'll do is we'll put one on the harness on that end right there. And now we can put the ignition coils in. This job is almost done. After that, let the car run. You can retighten these bolts, but we're not going to show that on this video because we're going to let this car run and we'll do it in a little bit. But make sure you do that. That's the best way to do it, because that gasket solves itself a little bit. And now we'll put the 4 bolts on these coils, and then we'll put the vacuum line in here and the vacuum line right there. Alright, there you go. Job is completed. Don't forget the 2 vacuum lines we took off. And that's it. That's how you do a valve cover gasket on a 2006 Toyota Camry. This is 4-cylinder. If you have a Corolla, it might have a little different setup, but something similar. And any other year, make, and model Camry, same procedure. If you have any questions, you can send us a message. Alright, so we're done here. After this, we'll let the car run and we'll check for leaks, which hopefully it does not. It should not. And you can see the silicone sticking out here. You want to leave that, you don't have to touch that. Alright guys, the cover that goes on the top, you can put the cover back together, but we're not going to do that yet because we're going to double check this, and later on just going to check all the bolts after this heats up a little bit. Alright, I forgot about that, but make sure you put the cover on.